Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract money like a magnet, while others constantly struggle against scarcity? The answer lies in something neuroscience has recently discovered about our brain, and that wise sages have known for millennia. There was a 24-year-old young man named Ricardo who lived in constant financial anguish. His mind was always occupied with money worries. Throughout the entire day, thoughts of scarcity came and went, creating a vicious cycle of anxiety and financial blocks. He always lamented lost opportunities from the past and obsessively worried about his financial future. Because of these thoughts, his mind was like a storm that prevented any prosperity from entering his life. Ricardo couldn't feel peace, couldn't sleep well thinking about bills, and had completely forgotten how to smile when he saw his bank balance. But you know what impresses me most? That millions of people live exactly this same financial reality. Tell me here in the comments, have you ever felt that your mind sabotages your financial achievements? That no matter how hard you try, it seems like something is blocking your prosperity? One day, Ricardo heard about a financial mentor who lived in the Miyai Mountains. They said this man had discovered the neurological secrets of divine abundance. He used to be a famous financial consultant in the city, helping people completely transform their relationship with money. Now, more experienced, he had withdrawn from urban life to live in harmony with the universal laws of prosperity. Occasionally, he shared his wisdom with special visitors. Ricardo became curious and hopeful. He decided he needed to meet this mentor. He thought, maybe this wise man can teach me how to unlock my divine prosperity. After a long journey of inner transformation, Ricardo arrived at the mentor's property. There, he found a simple but abundant house surrounded by prosperous gardens. On the porch, the mentor was in meditation, radiating a peace that only those who master the laws of abundance possess. Ricardo approached respectfully and said, "Master, my mind is always agitated with financial worries. I cannot stop thinking about scarcity. I desire abundance in my heart. Can you help me?" The mentor opened his eyes slowly and smiled serenely. He said, "So you seek divine prosperity? Come with me. I will give you a revealing task." He led Ricardo to his abundance garden. There he filled a crystal glass with pure water to the brim. The glass was so full that any sudden movement would make the water overflow. He handed the glass to Ricardo and said, "Walk to the fountain of prosperity at the end of the valley and return. But remember, you cannot spill even one drop of this sacred water." Ricardo was surprised, but determined to learn. He accepted the challenge. He held the glass carefully and began to walk. The path was full of distractions. People ran worried about their financial emergencies. Merchants shouted tempting offers, dogs barked, cars made noise. It was like the financial chaos we all live every day. But Ricardo didn't look around. His eyes remained fixed only on the glass. He walked slowly and consciously, step by step, breath by breath. People watched him with curiosity, but no one disturbed him. They knew he was learning something fundamental about abundance. Finally, Ricardo returned to the mentor and said, "Master, I did it. I didn't spill even one drop of water." The mentor nodded and smiled. Then he asked, "That's excellent, but tell me, did you see the children playing happily on the road? Did you hear the song of the abundance birds?" Ricardo was surprised and answered, "No, I didn't see or hear anything. I was focused only on the glass." Here is the secret that changed Ricardo's financial life forever and can change yours too. The mentor smiled and said gently, "This is the mystery of divine prosperity. Something that was always within you, but you didn't know how to access it. When your mind remains in the present moment, there is no space for financial fears, confusion about money, or thoughts of scarcity. You are thinking only about the water in the glass. In that moment, your mind became completely silent. You weren't sad about your financial past, nor afraid of your economic future. You were simply present, and it is in this state that divine abundance flows naturally. Modern neuroscience confirms that our brain has specific neural networks for abundance. When we train our mind for present focus, we activate these networks and unlock our natural capacity to attract prosperity. Tell me in the comments. Have you ever experienced moments of total focus where financial worries simply disappeared? What happened afterward? Slowly, Ricardo began to understand. This was the abundance he was seeking. Prosperity is not something we find outside ourselves. Divine abundance is already within us when we live in the present moment. Ricardo bowed respectfully and said, "Master, now I understand. If I want to calm my financial mind, I need to keep my consciousness in this moment." It is then that true prosperity manifests. The mentor smiled again. The sun was setting, creating a golden light that symbolized divine abundance. Birds were returning to their nests, each carrying the necessary food, confident in universal provision. Ricardo began his journey back home, but he was no longer the same financially anxious young man. He had transformed. He felt inner peace because now he knew how to align his mind with the frequencies of divine abundance. The first law of divine prosperity that Ricardo discovered is this: when you stop mentally fighting against scarcity and simply become present, you automatically align with the brain waves of abundance. Neuroscientific studies show that prosperous people have specific brain patterns. They don't spend mental energy fighting against lack, but direct all their consciousness toward present opportunities. Do you want to know what was the first practical transformation that Ricardo implemented? Every morning, he began to dedicate 10 minutes to what we call present abundance meditation. During these 10 minutes, he held a simple object, a coin, a crystal, or even a glass of water, and focused completely on it, the same way he had done in the Mentor's Challenge. This neural practice reprograms your brain to operate on the frequency of abundance instead of scarcity. It's like switching your mind's channel from survival mode to prosperity mode. In the comments, tell me, would you be willing to try this abundance meditation for just 10 minutes tomorrow morning? What would you use as your focus? Object? The second revolutionary discovery Ricardo made was understanding that our financial mind operates in 3 temporal dimensions: past, present, and future. Most people live trapped between financial guilt from the past and anxiety about the future. But divine abundance only exists in the present. It is in the now that opportunities manifest, brilliant ideas arise, valuable connections happen. When Ricardo learned to anchor his consciousness in the present, he began to perceive opportunities that had previously gone unnoticed. He noticed conversations that could generate business, creative ideas to increase his income, people who could become prosperous partners. All of this had always been there, but his anxious mind couldn't capture it. Neuroplasticity teaches us that we can literally rewire our brain for abundance. Every time you practice conscious presence, you're strengthening the neural networks of prosperity and weakening the circuits of scarcity. Ricardo implemented a second powerful technique, the 5 Senses of Abundance protocol. Whenever he felt financial anxiety arising, he would stop and consciously identify one thing he could see in the environment, an object, a color, a texture. One thing he could hear, birds, wind, his own breathing. One thing he could feel, temperature, texture of a surface. One thing he could smell. One thing he could taste. This neural protocol instantly brings your consciousness back to the present, interrupting the cycle of scarcity thoughts and reactivating your natural state of abundance. How many of you would like to learn more practical protocols like this? Leave in the comments if you want me to deepen these neuroscientific techniques. The third revelation completely transformed Ricardo's relationship with money. He understood that divine prosperity is not about forcing or fighting for abundance, but about removing the mental blocks that prevent its natural flow. Our brain has an evolutionary tendency called negativity bias. We automatically focus on threats and scarcity as a survival mechanism. But in our modern society, this mechanism has become an obstacle to abundance. Ricardo learned to recognize when his mind entered scarcity mode and developed what we call the conscious redirection technique. Whenever he perceived thoughts of lack, he gently redirected his attention to evidence of abundance around him. He began to notice nature's abundance, millions of leaves on trees, infinite raindrops, countless stars in the sky. This reprogrammed his brain to recognize abundance as the universe's natural state. This perceptual shift had immediate practical effects. Ricardo began to see opportunities where he previously saw problems, solutions where he previously saw obstacles, partnerships where he previously saw competition. Tell me in the comments, can you think of 3 pieces of evidence of abundance that are around you at this exact moment? It can be anything: air to breathe, light to see, people who love you. The 4th neural transformation was perhaps the most powerful. Ricardo discovered the active financial gratitude principle. Unlike passive gratitude, this is a specific neuroscientific practice. Every night, before sleeping, Ricardo wrote 3 things he was genuinely grateful for related to money, even if they were small. It could be having been able to pay a bill, receiving an unexpected discount, or simply having had enough for a meal. Studies show that gratitude activates specific neural networks related to abundance and optimism. When you train your brain to focus on what you have, it naturally creates more of the same. But Ricardo went further. He also practiced future gratitude, feeling anticipated gratitude for the abundances that were yet to come. This neural technique programs your brain to be receptive to future opportunities. In the first 30 days of this practice, Ricardo began to notice surprising changes. His energy changed, his body posture transformed, his conversations became more positive, and people began to respond differently to him. Opportunities began to appear coincidentally. An old colleague invited him to a lucrative project. He had an idea for a side business. He received an unexpected promotion at work. Do you believe that our mental vibrations really attract corresponding opportunities? Share your experiences in the comments. Have you noticed how prosperous people seem to attract more prosperity? The 5th discovery completely revolutionized Ricardo's understanding of divine abundance. He learned about what neuroscience calls the financial flow state. The flow state happens when we are completely absorbed in a present activity, lose track of time, and our performance reaches extraordinary levels. Olympic athletes, genius artists, and successful entrepreneurs know this state well. Ricardo discovered how to enter financial flow intentionally. Every time he worked on any money-related activity, from paying bills to creating lucrative projects, he applied total presence and focus, exactly as he had done with the glass of water. When paying a bill, instead of feeling stress, he focused completely on the process, feeling gratitude for the service received. When working, he dedicated total attention to the task, finding satisfaction in the process itself. This neural attitude shift transformed his relationship with money from conflict to harmony. And when you are in harmony with something, you naturally attract more of it into your life. People who operate in financial flow don't force abundance. They become natural channels through which prosperity flows. They work with universal laws, not against them. Ricardo also learned to identify and dissolve what we call neural contractions of scarcity. Whenever he thought about money and felt tension in his body, contracted muscles, shallow breathing, tight stomach, he knew he was operating in scarcity mode. He then developed the conscious expansion technique. When he detected contraction, he consciously relaxed his muscles, breathed deeply, and visualized abundant energy flowing freely through his body. How many of you have noticed how the body reacts differently when you think about abundance versus scarcity? Observe this and tell me your discoveries in the comments. The 6th transformation brought immediate practical results. Ricardo implemented the abundant decision protocol. Before making any financial decision, he asked himself, what choice would an abundant person make in this situation? This simple question completely reprogrammed his decision patterns. Instead of choosing based on fear, he began to choose based on abundance. He invested in his education, in valuable relationships, in growth opportunities. Abundant people think in terms of investment and growth. Scarcity people think in terms of expenses and limitations. It's the same situation but completely different neural perspectives. Ricardo also created what we call a neural abundance environment. He organized his home and workspace so that everything reflected prosperity and order. Healthy plants, beautiful objects, inspiring books, photos of achievements. Our external environment programs our internal environment. When you surround yourself with symbols of abundance, your brain unconsciously adopts abundant patterns of thinking. The seventh revelation connected Ricardo with the spiritual dimension of prosperity. He understood that true abundance is not just about accumulating money, but about being a channel of prosperity for others too. He began to practice the circulating abundance principle. Whenever he received money, a part was dedicated to helping others, whether through donations, gifts, or investments in projects that would benefit his community. This neural attitude of circulating abundance created an energy field around him that attracted even more prosperity. When you demonstrate confidence in the universe's infinite abundance through generosity, the universe responds with even more abundance. Ricardo discovered something fascinating. The more generous he became, the more opportunities appeared. It was as if his generosity signaled to the universe that he was ready to receive and manage even more abundance. Have you ever experienced that feeling that when you help others financially, somehow you receive more too? Share your stories in the comments. The eighth transformation involved completely reprogramming his neural language. Ricardo eliminated scarcity words from his vocabulary and replaced them with abundance language. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," he said, "How can I create value to get this?" Instead of, "Money is difficult," he said, "I'm learning to flow with abundance." Instead of, "I'm not lucky," he said, "I'm preparing for opportunities." Our language programs our brain. Every word we use reinforces corresponding neural networks. When you change your language, you literally reconstruct your neural reality. Ricardo also developed specific neural affirmations. Not generic affirmations, but precise statements based on real evidence of progress. I'm becoming more aware of opportunities every day. My capacity to create value is expanding. The ninth discovery transformed his relationship with time and money. Ricardo learned the productive presence principle. Instead of working anxiously thinking about future results, he dedicated himself completely to the present. When he was working, he worked with total presence. When he was relaxing, he relaxed completely. This clear division between focused action and regenerative rest maximized both his productivity and inner peace. Prosperous people know that quality of focus is worth more than quantity of time. 1 hour of work in a present flow state can produce more results than an entire day of anxious and scattered work. Ricardo implemented blocks of productive presence, defined periods where he dedicated himself completely to a specific activity, without mental distractions about past or future. The 10th and most powerful transformation connected Ricardo with his life mission. He understood that true abundance comes from aligning his unique talents with real value he could offer the world. He began to ask himself, how can I use my natural gifts to solve real problems for people? This question led him to discover abundance opportunities that were simultaneously financially rewarding and personally meaningful. When you align purpose with prosperity, work becomes pleasure, and abundance flows naturally as a result of authentic contribution. Ricardo discovered that each person has a unique way of creating abundance through their passions, talents, experiences, and particular perspectives. There is no single path to divine prosperity. His neural transformation journey took 6 months to show significant results, but the first signs appeared within the first weeks. His energy changed, opportunities began to arise, relationships deepened. More important than the financial results was the inner peace that Ricardo achieved. He no longer depended on external circumstances to feel abundant. He had discovered the inexhaustible source of prosperity that exists within each of us. The mentor had planted a seed of wisdom that grew into a tree of divine abundance. Ricardo not only transformed his own life, but became an inspiring example for others seeking the same path. True divine prosperity is not about having more money than others, but about discovering your infinite capacity to create value, contribute meaningfully, and live in harmony with the universal laws of abundance. This is the journey that is available to each of you. The same neural principles that transformed Ricardo can transform any person willing to practice conscious presence and alignment with divine abundance. Tell me in the comments, which of these 10 transformations resonated most with you? Which would you like to implement first in your lives? Your answers will help me create even more specific content for your needs. If this message touched your heart and inspired your mind, share it with people who are also seeking divine abundance in their lives. Together, we can create a wave of conscious prosperity that benefits our entire community. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more neuroscientific insights about divine prosperity. In upcoming videos, we'll deepen each of these techniques with specific practical exercises. Until our next journey of discovery, remain in a state of present abundance and confident in your divine capacity to prosper. The universe is conspiring in favor of your abundance. You just need to learn to cooperate with it consciously. But wait, there's something even more powerful that Ricardo discovered in his second month of practice. He learned about what neuroscientists call abundance neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to literally rewire itself for prosperity consciousness. Every morning when Ricardo woke up before checking his phone or thinking about his day, he spent exactly 3 minutes in what he called abundance awakening. He would lie in bed and consciously feel gratitude for having another day to create value and prosperity. This simple practice activated his prefrontal cortex, the brain region responsible for executive decisions and positive future planning. Studies show that people who practice morning gratitude have 25% higher income levels than those who start their day with worry or stress. Tell me in the comments, what's the first thought that usually comes to your mind when you wake up? Is it about abundance or scarcity? Be honest, this awareness alone can transform your financial reality. Ricardo also discovered the prosperity visualization protocol, but this wasn't ordinary visualization. Based on neuroscience research, he learned that the brain cannot distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and real ones when done correctly. Every evening, he would spend 15 minutes visualizing his ideal abundant life with incredible detail. But here's the key. He didn't just see the money or possessions. He felt the emotions, heard the sounds, smelled the environment, experienced the physical sensations of prosperity. He would visualize walking into his dream home, feeling the texture of quality materials under his fingers, hearing the sound of his footsteps on marble floors, smelling fresh flowers in his abundant garden, tasting celebration meals with loved ones. This multi-sensory visualization created new neural pathways that guided his subconscious mind toward opportunities and decisions that aligned with this abundant reality. Within weeks, he began making choices that he had never considered before. The 11th transformation revealed the emotional frequency of money. Ricardo learned that money is not just a physical object, it's an energy that responds to our emotional vibration. When we approach money with fear, guilt, or desperation, we repel it. When we approach it with love, gratitude, and confidence, we attract it. He began treating every financial transaction as a sacred exchange of energy. When paying for something instead of feeling loss, he felt appreciation for the value received. When receiving money, instead of guilt or unworthiness, he felt gratitude and responsibility. This shift in emotional frequency completely changed his relationship with money. People began offering him better deals. Unexpected opportunities arose, and his income started increasing from multiple sources simultaneously. Have you noticed how some people seem to get amazing deals and opportunities while others always struggle with money? Share your observations in the comments. I believe you'll start seeing patterns. The 12th breakthrough involved understanding divine timing and financial flow. Ricardo discovered that the universe has perfect timing for abundance, but our anxiety and impatience often block this natural timing. He learned to surrender control while maintaining focused action. He would work diligently toward his goals but release attachment to specific timelines or outcomes. This paradoxical approach, maximum effort with minimum attachment, aligned him with divine flow. Opportunities began appearing at exactly the right moments. Contacts reached out precisely when he needed them. Resources became available just as he was ready to use them. It was as if the universe was orchestrating his prosperity journey. Ricardo developed the divine timing trust exercise. Whenever he felt anxious about financial outcomes, he would ask himself, what if the universe's timing is actually perfect for my highest good? This question instantly shifted him from resistance to receptivity. The 13th discovery unlocked the abundance magnetism code. Ricardo learned that truly abundant people don't chase money. They become magnets that naturally attract prosperity through their energy, skills, and contribution. He focused on developing what he called his magnetic abundance qualities: exceptional value creation, genuine service to others, continuous learning and growth, authentic relationships, and unwavering faith in abundance. Instead of asking, "How can I make more money?" he began asking, "How can I become more valuable to others?" This shift in focus transformed him from a taker to a giver, from a seeker to a source. The results were remarkable. People began seeking his advice, inviting him to projects and referring opportunities to him. His reputation as someone who creates value preceded him wherever he went. Ricardo also mastered the energy investment principle. He learned that every thought, emotion, and action is an investment of his life energy. Abundant people invest their energy in appreciation, creation, and contribution. Scarcity people invest their energy in worry, complaint, and competition. He began auditing his daily energy investments. How much energy went to worry versus planning? How much to complaining versus improving? How much to competing versus creating? This awareness allowed him to redirect his energy toward abundance-generating activities. The 14th transformation revealed the prosperity partnerships principle. Ricardo discovered that abundant people understand collaboration over competition. They create networks of mutual support and shared success. He began building what he called his prosperity circle, a network of like-minded individuals committed to mutual growth and abundance. They shared opportunities, resources, knowledge, and support with each other. This principle multiplied his results exponentially. Instead of trying to succeed alone, he had an entire network working toward shared prosperity. Opportunities that were too big for one person became achievable through collaboration. In the comments, let me know. Who are 3 people in your life that could be part of your prosperity circle? Sometimes the resources we need are closer than we think. The 15th breakthrough involved mastering abundance communication. Ricardo learned that how we talk about money directly programs our subconscious mind and influences how others perceive our worthiness of prosperity. He eliminated all victim language around money. No more "I can't afford it," "money is tight," "rich people are greedy," or "money doesn't grow on trees." Instead, he used empowering language that aligned with abundance consciousness. His new financial vocabulary included phrases like, "I'm creating the resources for that," "money flows to me easily," "I add tremendous value," and "abundance is my natural state." This linguistic shift reprogrammed his subconscious beliefs about money. People began perceiving him differently. Clients started paying him higher fees without negotiation. Employers offered better positions. Partners proposed more lucrative deals. His words had become aligned with prosperity consciousness. The 16th discovery unlocked abundance intuition. Ricardo learned to trust his inner guidance system for financial decisions. He discovered that his intuition, when not clouded by fear or desperation, was incredibly accurate at identifying profitable opportunities. He developed the Prosperity Gut Check Protocol. Before making any financial decision, he would get quiet, breathe deeply, and ask his body how the opportunity felt. Expansion and lightness meant yes. Contraction and heaviness meant no or wait. This intuitive guidance saved him from several poor investments and guided him toward opportunities that logic alone couldn't evaluate. His success rate with financial decisions improved dramatically. Ricardo also learned about abundance cycles. He discovered that prosperity, like nature, moves in cycles of planting, growing, harvesting, and rest. Understanding these cycles helped him navigate temporary financial challenges without losing faith in his abundance. During planting seasons, he invested in education, relationships, and skill development. During growing seasons, he nurtured opportunities with patience and care. During harvest seasons, he received the rewards while staying humble and grateful. During rest seasons, he regenerated and prepared for the next cycle. The 17th transformation revealed the divine purpose and prosperity alignment. Ricardo discovered that his greatest financial success came when his work aligned with his soul's purpose and served something greater than himself. He asked himself profound questions. What problems in the world break my heart? What talents do I have that could solve these problems? How can my prosperity serve not just me, but contribute to healing and helping others? When Ricardo aligned his financial goals with his divine purpose, everything changed. Work became worship. Challenges became adventures. Money became a tool for greater service. His income increased, but more importantly, his fulfillment skyrocketed. The 18th breakthrough involved understanding generational wealth consciousness. Ricardo realized that true abundance isn't just about his own prosperity, but about creating positive financial patterns that could benefit future generations. He began thinking beyond his own lifetime. How could his prosperity choices create opportunities for his children? How could his abundance consciousness influence his family tree? How could his success inspire others to break their own poverty patterns? This generational perspective motivated him to make different choices. Instead of short-term gratification, he chose long-term wealth building. Instead of consumption, he chose investment. Instead of keeping abundance to himself, he chose to teach and share. Comment below. What kind of financial legacy do you want to leave for future generations? Sometimes thinking beyond ourselves unlocks levels of motivation we never knew we had. The 19th discovery unveiled the sacred money rituals. Ricardo learned that treating money as sacred energy rather than mere currency transformed his entire relationship with abundance. He created beautiful rituals around money. When paying bills, he blessed the companies serving him. When receiving payments, he expressed gratitude for the value exchange. When investing, he sent love and good intentions with his money. He kept his physical money clean and organized. His wallet became a sacred space containing only what he needed, arranged with respect and gratitude. His bank statements became documents of appreciation rather than sources of stress. These rituals might seem unusual, but they created a profound psychological shift. Money stopped being something to fear or hoard and became a flow of sacred energy he was privileged to steward. The 20th and most profound transformation connected Ricardo with infinite abundance consciousness. He realized that scarcity is an illusion created by limited thinking, while abundance is the true nature of a universe filled with infinite stars, infinite space, and infinite possibility. When Ricardo truly absorbed this truth, that abundance is infinite and available to everyone without depleting anyone else's share, his final mental blocks to prosperity dissolved completely. He stopped competing for limited resources and started creating from unlimited possibility. He stopped fearing others' success and started celebrating it as proof that abundance is available to all. He stopped believing in financial limitations and started operating from infinite potential. This consciousness shift was the final key that unlocked his complete financial transformation. Within 1 year of meeting the mentor, Ricardo had tripled his income, built multiple streams of abundance, and most importantly, found unshakable peace in his relationship with money. But Ricardo's story doesn't end with his personal success. True abundance always flows outward to serve others. He began sharing these principles with friends, family, and eventually wider communities. His prosperity became a blessing that multiplied exponentially. The mentor's wisdom had not only transformed one anxious young man, but had created ripples of abundance consciousness that continued expanding. Ricardo became a living example that divine prosperity is available to anyone willing to align their consciousness with abundance. Today, Ricardo lives in peaceful abundance, not because he has accumulated vast wealth, but because he has discovered the inexhaustible wealth consciousness within himself. External circumstances may fluctuate, but his inner abundance remains unshakable. He still practices the techniques the mentor taught him. Every morning brings abundance meditation. Every challenge becomes an opportunity for growth. Every financial decision flows from prosperity consciousness rather than scarcity fear. The mountain village where the mentor lives has become a place of pilgrimage for those seeking to transform their relationship with money. Ricardo often returns there, not as a student seeking answers, but as a grateful soul sharing wisdom with new seekers. The old mentor continues his work, planting seeds of abundance consciousness in fertile minds, watching them grow into trees of prosperity that shade and nourish entire communities. This is the true power of divine prosperity. It never stops with one person. It flows from soul to soul, generation to generation, creating waves of positive transformation that heal financial wounds and unlock humanity's infinite creative potential. What started as one young man's desperate search for financial peace has become a beacon of hope for thousands. The principles work because they align with universal laws of abundance that govern all of creation. Are you ready to begin your own transformation from financial anxiety to divine abundance? The same consciousness that changed Ricardo's life is available to you right now, in this moment, simply by deciding to align with prosperity instead of scarcity. Your journey toward divine financial abundance begins with a single choice: the choice to believe that you are worthy of prosperity, capable of creating value, and connected to an infinitely abundant universe that wants to flow through you. In our next video, we'll explore the advanced techniques that take you beyond personal abundance into what we call abundance leadership, using your prosperity to create positive change in your community and world. If this message has awakened something deep in your soul, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to join our growing community of abundance-minded individuals who are transforming not just their own lives, but contributing to a more prosperous world for all. Remember, the universe is not lacking in abundance. The only shortage is in our consciousness of abundance. When you change your consciousness, you change your reality. When you change your reality, you inspire others to do the same. Until we meet again in our next exploration of divine prosperity, carry this truth in your heart. You are abundance. You are prosperity. You are infinite possibility expressing itself through human form. The only question is whether you'll choose to remember and embody this truth. The journey to divine financial abundance is not about getting something you don't have. It's about remembering what you've always been and allowing it to flow freely through your life in service to all.